Heading to McLaren of Palm Beach, picking up the 720. We're gonna hang on to it for a while. It didn't really make sense to keep it there, keep making payments and not get to enjoy it. And it's not selling. There's over 20 of them for sale right now in South Florida. I might as well drive it, enjoy it, make the payments, list it myself. And if it sells, it sells. So this one's gonna have to live outside. But the good news is now this one doesn't have to be the fun car all the time. Maybe I can do a little bit more with it and have a little more fun, because if there's some downtime, I still have a fun car to drive. Uber's on the way. Let's go get it. And she's back. A little dirty. We'll get it washed up. Go for a cruise. I'm so excited. It tells me I shouldn't have sold it. Let's go. First drive in a while. Gotta remember all the buttons to push. Lifts up. Let's go. Oh, I miss this car. So here's the reason I went and got the McLaren Back, keeping the Aston Martin and the G-Wagon. The market got flooded with 720s. That being said, I could probably leave it at the dealership and eventually it would sell, because it's still one of the lower priced ones in the market. For me, it didn't make a lot of sense to have it for sale and pay the payment until it sells. Who knows, that could be 30, 60, 90 days at the dealership. Eventually it would sell, sure. In the meantime, that would cost me a lot of money and I wouldn't even get the enjoyment from driving it. So I made the decision, I will list it myself, and then when it sells, I'll sell it. If it doesn't sell, I get to enjoy what is probably the best bang for the buck car on the market right now. What's not to like about that? It'll free me up to be able to do a little more to that, have maybe a little downtime, and be able to actually not be without a fun car. These are problems that I have, that's why no one cares about my problems. I get it. It's a pretty cool lineup to have, and it makes me grateful for the fact my wife and my business is doing so well that is an option that we can take. We weren't selling it because we couldn't afford it. We were selling it because we had something else and we figured only one would be enough. We've decided to keep it and we can afford it. It makes me realize how important it is that you know your role in business. What I mean by that is, I don't think our business KeySmart would have been nearly as successful if I wasn't willing to admit that there are things my wife Valerie is better at than I am, and to let her have 100% control of that stuff. Very operational, and she runs the day-to-day type of stuff, because that's just where her strengths are, and mine is over here. Get new customers in business, to keep the customers in business we have and make sure they're happy, and to expand those existing customers and businesses to grow our overall income. Together we do that really well. It's something that I realized, even if you're an employee, is super important, is knowing your role in the business, because they're rich. The kid just drove by and said they're rich. And that's what I'm trying to say, is it's not that. It's knowing your role, maximizing the potential, and putting the right people in charge of the right things can help you succeed in areas where people who make just as much, if not more income, aren't succeeding, because the right people are in charge. So even if you're just a W-2 employee, and I say just because everyone thinks you have to be the business owner to do this. You don't. You just have to be good at what you do and make sure that you are very specific about what you do. Stop trying to multitask and do too many things. Your number one priority at work is your job, your role. And what you've all in that company agreed is your role. That should be your number one priority before you do anything else. Now, if there are other things that pop up, just like they do for me, I then have to be sure that I keep focused on the thing that's important and make sure that I put chunks of time together to focus solely on this thing, and then I can move on to this thing and this thing, each in their designated times and amount of times, and it allows me to keep momentum going and productivity going, because multitasking just kills all of that, because you get a lot of things done a little bit instead of a lot of things fully done. See you on the next one.